Going on, everybody? And today the bulls are on parade yet again. The pullback in the NASDAQ and ES was short lived, and the bulls took over by storm. NASDAQ continues to show itself as the stronger index. ES has not, the S&P 500 has not broken its all-time highs yet, but appears to be on its way there. We will see how the last hour virtually shakes out today, but tomorrow seems to be a likely either a follow-through day or somewhat of a hangover. So we will see. But nonetheless, you can tell by the title of today's video that we are going to go over how you can potentially identify a trend day by using the MACD. And I know that the MACD is a lagging indicator, and a lot of people don't like to use indicators at all, lagging indicators specifically, or the MACD as a whole, because some people feel it's a bit antiquated. But nonetheless, you can see a clear divergence here that shows you that we may be in a trend day. And when you use that in confluence with some moving averages, I think the picture becomes a little clearer. And of course, I'm speaking in hindsight, but nonetheless, let's go over first how we can identify this by looking at the macro picture. And what I mean by that is by using the higher time frames. So if you look here at the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and the daily chart, we're putting in solid green days. And when you try to go against the trend, and I am guilty as charged on this, you tend to get ran over by strong buying pressure. You simply just get in the way and you actually fuel the move up. Your liquidity of people to sell into and to buy into just pushes that ticker up regardless of what it is. And on days like today, that can be especially painful. So, how can we avoid that? What can we look for to identify that? Let's jump right into it. So, I have the MACD down here on pulled up here on Tradeovate. And what you'll notice is we have the 8:30 news candle right here, and that really kicks everything off. It provides this massive gap up in the market it's opened up at 65 and it closed at 11. So this was like a 40 something point candle that just pushes everything straight up. Okay. So what happens as we get towards market open here at 9:30? It continues to rally up through that, and at 9:30 we have a little bit of an indecision, and then that starts the leg up. So as we start to look at the MACD, just follow the crosshair cursor along. The MACD is gaining here, gaining here. Okay, we're not getting in the way. We're above all of the EMAs. We're above VWAP. There's no real selling pressure on the higher time frame. This is a 5-minute chart we are looking at. And every single red candle subsequently gets bought up. Okay, so what do we see here? We see that the MACD starts to curl. Okay, great. So now we have somewhat of a pullback that is immediately bought back up. So you have 10 minutes of somewhat selling pressure, not really, because you can tell the wicks on these candles, it's kind of just choosing or chopping, consolidating which direction it wants to go. And then that immediately gets bought back up, and then sellers come right down. However, what you'll notice is that it never breaks through this low on the volume profile. It goes right back up, and then we're hanging out right here on this low volume node, and it just pushes up. So the MACD crosses over, yet the pricing continues to remain strong and hangs above the EMAs. And here we are recording this video right now at 3 in the afternoon, but look, every single pullback has been bought up. So when you notice that the MACD curls over and there's no follow through in the buyer price or the seller price action, whichever you're watching, and it stays above the lower time frame EMAs. I have the 9 and I believe the 9 and the 20 EMA here. When you have it being supported with the EMAs, that shows that your entries should be based off of whatever pullbacks you see. Now, again, we're trading in hindsight, but you could buy here. You can buy here. You can buy here. Regardless of how long that you are holding your trade for, buying these pullbacks is ultimately where you're going to be able to find a solid entry and get in. And now you're starting to see this somewhat taper out and curl over. So I wouldn't be looking for any trades here. Personally, the day is done, as well as I think a majority of the good moves are done until about 3:30. I would just wait to see what happens then to round out the hour. But that is what I look for in terms of, okay, if I'm seeing constant buying pressure or constant selling pressure that simply cannot be, um, you know, reversed in any fashion and it just keeps going up even though the MACD is curling over, you have a solid way to get into a trade just by buying a simple pullback. Easier said than done, but I think today is a great day that illustrates how you can see this in real time. And I know some people don't like to draw patterns, or some people think that patterns could, in fact, be, just lines on a chart, which, in my opinion, I believe that all moving averages, all patterns that you draw, support and resistance, I think it's all garbage. It works until it doesn't. But in this situation, you can see clearly here that you have somewhat of a pennant or a flag, a bullish pennant or flag, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But you can see that here, and then it breaks right back out. There is no retest of what the breakout line would be, but you do see a solid breakout and a push up. And again, what can you look for if you want to use patterns to identify this? You can see right here, you have some support, and then right here, the pullback itself never breaks below that. And then you have strong buying pressure that pulls itself up. So it breaks above the flag and you're good to go. And the same thing if you want to draw it a different way, I'll just remove these drawings here. You can see it right here as well. Whether that's a wedge, whatever you want to call it, same difference. The concept remains. So days like today, when you learn how to identify them, can be massive money makers in your trading. But the last thing you want to do is be greedy, because again, it's a trend day until it's not. The indicator works until it doesn't. Your thesis is right until it's wrong, etc. You can apply every analogy to that, but eventually the market is going to want to make its money back. Now, mind you, if you have, balls of steel and you bought down here and you just held all the way through, good on you, man, because you're probably one of the best traders ever. But this is just a simple way you can use to find entries and hold through your trade to have some decent gains. And I do hope that this is valuable. I'm going to do another video using Bookmap here relatively soon to identify support and resistance based on how the orders come in, because you have to have some sort of order flow tool with your trading. You can't rely on price action alone. But that is everything for today's video, guys. Please throw a like and subscribe if you can. Comment down below with how your trading worked out today, and I'll see you in the next video.